Hey, welcome to the Drupal Lab. This is our second video on the Drupal development virtual machine tutorial. The second part is about installation. So let's get our hands dirty. Let's touch the code, right? Cool. Let me first of all check requirements. For requirements, we do need background, right? For that one, I'm running version 1.1.5. I think other versions should work for this too, since, if I recall correctly right now, the background file does use the newer syntax. So it should work. This is for background. So our first requirement, background. As for VirtualBox, let me just open it up here. And you'll see I'm running not really a new version here either. This is version 4.1.18, right? Also, a newer version should work just fine for you. That's it. You just make sure you have these two packages installed in your machine and you're ready to go. You'll also need Git, but I think that's just common for any development environment. And it's also very easy to install on like a Linux system. There's also some useful installers like Git Bash for Windows if you do prefer that operating system. Good. Let's start by creating simply, let's say, directory inside of which I'll work. Okay. So what I'll do first is just cloning this. Sorry. So it goes. And let's wait just a bit. What do we have here? The directory called Drupal.vm. Oh, I'll get the typeface a little bit bigger here, a little bit more readable. Oh, that's good. Cool. So you can just go inside of it. And here you see this is the contents of that repository. This is all you need to get up and running very, very quickly. We can do a very first check just by running vagrant status, and vagrant will simply say this virtual machine, there is no virtual machine associated with this, right? Good. Let's go and just use it. I'll get to explain the vagrant file later on, so let's just go and create this up, okay? Vagrant up, and we'll let vagrant do its work there. Oh, this is downloading from the web. If you don't have a vagrant box by the name Precise32 in your machine, you'll have to download it from the web, right? So that is what this is doing right here. But it will take so much time. I just don't want to do that. Let me pause the video and I'll resume when I get a copy that I have laying around, properly imported and ready to use. Okay, I'll be back soon. Be back soon. Okay, I'm back. Good. I had to rely on a trick to just avoid like duplicating files on my system, especially given that this Precise32 VirtualBox machine weighs 300 megs. I really don't want to waste 300 megs. And what you'll find here is that I used a symbolic link. So this folder here is just a symbolic link to the actual directory holding the real files there. And it worked just fine. Good. Now this is a trick. Okay, so in your case you can just run background app and you'll get the system downloading the Precise32 box for you and getting this properly imported. So everything is transparent. I just did this to avoid some time on my side. Let's run it up. Let's run it again. Oh, let's run vagrant status, so not created. Good. And let's run vagrant up. So now it's importing the base box. It found it, so it's just doing the actual import there. While it's importing, I'll share some details with you. So in your home folder, you'll see there is a directory called VirtualBox VMs. And what it'll do here, it's doing the actual import, get a name here, so it'll use like the name of the directory you have your background file on, and also use like not really sure, this should be like a random number, really. Not sure if there is some relation with system state or anything like that. Well, and now this is running. What background does is it helps you with things like this. So this is very, very useful. Being able to do port forwarding automatically, managing it via code is very, very useful. And after it ran all the customizations there, after it ran all the customizations there, it just proceeded with booting the virtual machine. Hey, okay, it started the provisioning process. So, provisioning process is very simple. It's about getting your virtual machine populated with packages in proper configuration that you want, right? That's simply it. So sudo apt-get install get, sudo apt-get install vim, whatever. All of that is done for you via provisioning. So this repository, this Drupal development virtual machine that you can download from my GitHub account, is all about that. It's just provisioning plus a background file that defines the general configuration of the virtual machine. So the provisioner part is the really important one. At this point, what you see running is just a shell provisioner. It's just running some shell, some bash instructions there. But now you can see it's telling you, hey, I just starting running the Puppet provisioner. And this is where the real action comes in. You'll see it provides you with some information here. And first of all, it'll always notify you about the proxy state. So it'll tell you, hey, I'm not using a proxy. I just found your environment to not be set up to use a proxy. So I'll just try to go straight ahead into the web and try to get everything without using a proxy, right? If it finds a proxy, like an environment variable in your system to point to a proxy, it'll just take that value in and use that for the commands. And it works correctly. I've tested it, well, not this exact same version, because this one has some adjustments that I've done recently, but a very recent version, I've tested it, I've created it, like getting it up and running from scratch in a place, in a location where I have to work behind a proxy. And it worked. It worked just correctly. You can build the virtual machine just correctly. Okay, good. So now this is the long part. And by long, I really mean no more than like 10 or 12 minutes. It's very, very quick to do. It's very fast, actually. I love how fast it is, given the file size that you'll find at the end for your virtual machine, for the hard disk, I mean, for the virtual machine. So, given that this will take some time, I'll simply pause the video recording, and I'll resume when this is done. Okay, so see you soon. And we're done. A bit less than 10 minutes later, you see we have our development virtual machine ready. Let's now make some checks. For that, I'll just use the command line interface. This machine that I just built, this only is only accessible via the command line, specifically via SSH. I'm going to connect to it. I plan on doing, and I'm actually working on adding some provisioning to get a desktop environment in a working state, but that will be something for a later discussion, right? Once I have it working in a nice way, at least having some minimal tools, I'll of course publish a new video on that. Good, let me get into the virtual machine. You'll see you're running not a common prompt, but a ZSH prompt. It was automatically installed for us. Very cool. And we can also look, let's check that Apache is running, right? So for that, I'll do this. To avoid having to set my host's file, to have a proper domain, I'll just go hit it through localhost. Remember, this one informed us at the beginning about using port forwarding. I do rely on port forwarding, essentially because when using a VPN, to connect like to your production environment or your testing environment or whatever, if a VPN that is very restrictive is part of your daily workflow, the only way that I found to be able to work comfortably without having like issues again and again and again is by using port forwarding. So that's why. Good, let's now first check that this is indeed our virtual machine. So for that, I'll simply go use Vim and let's open index.html. Oh, this is a read-only file. Sorry. Let's do it with sudo. Good. Let's say, yep, it works. Good. And it now, oh, sorry, I haven't saved it. Cool. So we are really, indeed, hitting this very virtual machine here. This is the one that we are using. Excellent. This is it. So we do have Apache working. We just confirmed that. Let's take like a general look at how things look. Let me go to like Apache. And let's go to Apache sites enabled. Good. And there you'll find this conf file here is just, oh sorry, this is a link, right? The other one is the original one, but it's the same. For practical purposes, it's just the same. And this one here is the definition that is letting us hit this index HTML file, right? Cool. So this is active, this is working. Also, we do have PHP. Oh, nice. Let me check that. Cool. Did you notice something? It didn't ask us for a user and password. Given that this is just for development purposes, it makes no sense to have the ugly screen just nagging us all the time, like very just upsetting in the end, So auto login enabled for PHP. Cool, that's excellent. What else can we look at here? Let me look at the mods enabled. So we do have all these modules enabled already. Important ones for Drupal. The right module is very important. For my work purposes, I do also use proxy HTTP. I do have it enabled by default. And what else? Well, the other ones I really don't know much about. Oh, PHP 5 core, of course. And that's it. So we do have those there. Cool. That's really nice. Also, we can go to Apache 2 and let's go to conf.d. So conf.d, what do we have here? A very nice set of PHP extensions. Interesting ones: xdebug, doing debugging, xhprof, profiling, very cool. We do have memcached, nice. And also APC. So all those are part of this virtual machine. All those are integrated, ready just to be used, including debugging on Vim, if you want, on the command line interface. Okay, that's very nice. What else? Let me just pause a bit and think, what else can I show you? What else can be of interest right after installing, getting this virtual machine up and running? Okay, cool. Let's just finish this up with a couple details. Let me just show htop. So you'll see we do have 2 cores available for the virtual machine. So this is properly set in background file, so the virtual machine gets more than 1 core available to it. It can be pretty useful for some use cases, right? And also, if you noticed when we were browsing to the root directory, you'd see that we have ABC. So the virtual machine is also provisioned automatically for you with apc.php in the root domain. This is the root domain. With apc.php file there, you can just browse to it and see what the status of your the APC cache, a bit of redundance there, but what the status of APC is, right? So you can see how it's doing. Cool. So that's the very first step. In this very video, I will show you like how to set actual sites running. So if you go to bar /, you'll just see a couple files, no sites running there, no directories, just to keep constantly separated, right? But the next video will be about importing an existing website, an existing Drupal website, into this virtual machine. We do have automated provisioning for that. I think it's very nice too. Well, I just did it the way I like it, so that's why I think it's very nice. But anyway, hope you found this one useful. Hope you can get this up and running also as easily and quickly, and as quickly as I do. And I'll see you later in the next video. Thanks.